You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole wrestling YouTube community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together we are Rubric. And see, like I said in the Impact video, he's back. So I'm not a liar. So thank you so very much, family. One more time, once again, twice in one day. We're back just to cover AEW Dynamite, a show that it was, I will say, average, okay, or bad. I would say probably one of the worst Dynamites that I ever seen. And I'm starting to get a little worried about the future of the company because they're not really delivering, Jean-Paul.
Yeah, I mean,
NXT is sweeping the rug with them.
I agree with you, and that's why it makes me think, that rumor where NXT's done after 30 days, it makes you think, wow, Wednesdays is going to just be like a mediocre night for wrestling, and we used to say it was the best, the best during the week. Wednesdays was the night that you didn't want to miss, but if NXT goes away and all we're left with AEW, that's a scary thought, because like you said, AEW right now, yeah, one or two things on the show is pretty good, but then the rest of it falls really flat. It feels like there's no energy behind it. It's like the same thing every week. Okay, we're going to get Tony Schiavone and Jericho on commentary, and they're just going to be making fun of Pineapple Pete, and it's just going to be some other stuff going on. It's kind of just almost the same show every week. That's just kind of how it feels. A little matches are different, but it's just there's nothing really exciting.
Again, you're just mentioning, it feels the same. We're missing a lot of the great talent.
And the thing that's crazy to say is we just had that empty arena, World Championship match,
and there was barely any build up on that.
Yeah, but even with that, it's no, these shows just don't feel exciting.
No, and you probably will agree with me. They're missing a lot of the top talent. They're missing your boy Adam Handman Page is nowhere to be found. MJF had a little promo, but that was it. The Lucha Bros, Pac, all of those guys are really making us miss them even more. They left a big gap, and they're not even really able to fill that void.
Even the Young Bucks haven't been here for a while, and they have their thing on. You got to watch their show on their YouTube probably because they can't travel, so they probably got to film everything in their backyard.
Well, Jean-Paul, it was they're being the Elite, the 200 episode, so they decided to have a match between each other in a Falls Count Anywhere. So, I mean, if you guys are interested on that, go watch it, but I'm not interested in that. I don't know if you are, Jean-Paul, but no. I don't need a match without a story. That's the one thing. But before we go to the show itself, thank you to every single one that is subscribing, to all our viewers, Jean-Paul, myself, thank you so very much. Ariel Perryman, there you go. Thank you so very much. Very kind. She was talking a lot of good things about the show. There is your shout out. Thank you so very much from the bottom of our hearts. And Jean-Paul Leck. Dynamite opened up with a video of Cody Rhodes. He's sitting down in front of a monitor showing clips of Lance Archer, Keith Sabian, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Dustin Rhodes. He says there's all known factors, but who is he? He asks where he fits in all of this. He says just like the three in-ring generals who broke the throne because he was afraid to sit in. He has his feet too comfortable or too complacent. He praises TNT for the commissioning a new TNT championship, and since fans will criticize it, but history will be remember them as a company who introduced another major title less than a year into his life. Well, any other company will have titles already lined up. So that for me is
I mean, and what he said about fans criticizing, I think the only fans that are criticizing are the ones that are saying, oh, this title was only created to put it on Cody because he can't win, the main heavyweight title. That's true. That's the only thing I think fans criticizing, because fans have been calling for a mid-card title for months. If anything, they're going to be criticizing you because you did it too late. Like you said, you should have started the company with the tag team belts, the heavyweight belt, and the mid-card belt. You should start your company with 4 belts. Boom.
That's the easier way for you to write television. That's the only way, because you're the booker in our in the Rubric family. It's easy for you to book everything, and it's not, having the stuff ready.
And it's not even like you have to have maybe the mid-card title on your first show. Maybe book some feuds. Hey, you have all these feuds, these guys. Put them all in a ladder match, hang the title there. The winner of this match, boom, you'll be the first. And then whatever, if we're using AEW, the first TNT champion. Do something. They should have introduced it way sooner.
A lot sooner.
But to the matter at hand, Cody, had this video package, just promo in the beginning. I mean, he was okay. Like Cody's, his promos. I mean, I'm not gonna say, oh, he's a bad promo. He's usually a pretty good promo, but like you said, it was like if you actually listen to what he said, you were like scratching your head because it's like, what is he even talking about?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So pretty much he says that he has to prove himself where he fits in the AEW in the TNT Championship Tournament. And now the show starts again with Schiavone and Le Champion on commentary. Like you said, it's okay. I mean, Jericho, I think, does his best effort to kind of make the show entertaining and everything. But, like, I don't know if with Giovanni, I mean, they try, but it doesn't come out as funny. Or maybe because there's no crowd, like, there's a
No,
lot of elements missing.
there was one or two things, and I can't, and that's kind of sad. So I guess didn't find them that funny. But there was one or two things that Jericho said that were like funny enough that I actually laughed, not just like laughed in my head, like verbally laughed out loud. So he does, get his job done. He does make you laugh. I feel on commentary. Some people he probably makes laugh a lot more than others. But like I said, it's just the same. I don't know. I guess maybe with Jim Ross and Excalibur and Shivani, with three guys that they, at this point, before they all went away, they were gelling together really well, I thought. Maybe
Yeah.
they all just brought different energy. And then just with Jericho and Shivani, they're kind of just bringing like the same energy every week.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you got to applaud them for even, and we're being critical. We do applaud them for even having a show because it's probably hard and stressful, to work every week when all this is going on.
It's true, and but remember, Jean Paul, these are all tape, so that's also why the energy probably feels a little bit like weak because it was taped, right after the other. So it's like, okay, it's done.
Oh,
Do another.
how many do they tape in a row?
All the way up till the end of April. So the next one is also going to be taped. Yeah.
Oh, so they tape like 4 episodes in a row.
Like they did a lot of shows, yeah, enough to get them by unless till the pandemic. There will be kind of like an idea of like what day they will be.
Oh yeah, see, I wouldn't. I mean, well, that definitely explains it. Then I didn't know that they were taping them that many. I mean, maybe like one or two here or there, but yeah, that definitely explains the lack of energy.
Yeah, it is. It's like it feels like it's the same crowd. So it's like, yeah, somebody's coming up. Yeah, it's like because the fourth time that they've done that.
Yeah.
But Mr. Ek, a match that we've seen a few times already. Sami Guevara, the Spanish God or the Spanish loser, and I say that in a very comedic way. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Against Darby Allin, good match. But in the end, we knew who the winner was going to be. No surprises here.
Yeah, I mean,
Darby Allin picks up the win.
yeah, I don't like. I'm gonna just rewind the tape here a little bit. Can you tell me your opinion of this match? Did you like it or no? Because you said good match, but I feel like when we actually talk about it, we're gonna say how it really, from their previous efforts, this match to me wasn't very good. Like
it's I guess good for what you see, but like you said, in the end, it's just like it's more of the same. We've seen this already, so
yeah, like I mean, like I said, we see it, and there's like oh, the match doesn't even begin, and it's like there's all this stuff, and it's like why can't these guys just go in, ring the bell, ding ding ding, and have them put on a legit wrestling clinic? Forget that Guevara's a heel, forget that. Darby Allin has to be like, oh, he's beaten and broken all the time and he barely overcomes the odds. Let them just have a match where they wrestle like a Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, because they could put on a match like that. They're both really good. We never really see that. There's always like all this stuff and like everything you gotta spice it up, but it doesn't need that.
Well, and also I think the commercial breaks damage a little bit. They heard like I was getting into it. For example, the one thing I did like is the splash that hit it on the ladder when Guevara did the splash on or Darby. That was cool. But then again, I'm getting into it, and then we'll be right back when AEW Dynamite continues. So then I'm completely taken away from that, and then it took me a little while to get behind it. But in the end, we knew Darby Allin was going to win it just because they clearly don't have any faith in Sami Guevara. No. I just don't know why he has never, in this, I will say 8 months, closer to 9 months, he has never have a meaningful win. So I just
because like I said, like the main point of this was to have it where it's like, oh, you think Cody's going to win it? He gets so close. And then Lance Archer comes in and beats him and takes it away. I mean, that's at least would be the smart thing to do. But the smarter thing to do would have been Lance Archer and Cody feud outside of the tournament. And then the winner of this tournament could have been a Sami Guevara or a Darby Allin or somebody like that. But Kip Sabian, somebody like that could have been the winner.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, because their feud doesn't need the title. Their feud, like Jake Roberts said, it's about respect. It's about all this stuff. It's not really about this TNT title. And I mean, it's just Cody always having to kind of, maybe not be in the major spotlight, but at least be in some sort of spotlight. And
A
you're
little
taking
bit
it
of the
away.
political pull you
Yeah,
see there.
you're taking it away from guys like you said, Guevara, and that's why in our eyes we see him as a loser.
Yes. Yes, when he's clearly legit. But let's go to, like, of course, like the last moments of the match. So we return to see Darby Allin shoot for a suicide dive, but Sami moves and he crashes into the barricade. That was a little bit of a scary spot. Like Audrey Edwards was checking. He's like, okay, you're okay. She was kind of looking at the doctor over there. But then Guevara gets Darby back in the ring and he hits the 630 and goes for the pin, but Darby gets to the ropes. Sami tries to whip Darby, but he counters with a float over stunner. I really like that move though. How like he flips the stunner. Sami catches Allin and attempts to torture Ragni, but Darby reverses into the Last Supper and gets the 3 count. So, okay, like you said, actually you made me rewind. I will say average. There you go. I will take the good for average.
Yeah.
I like the spot from the splash. The Last Supper seems like an interesting move. I like the name, so
Yeah,
for what it
yeah.
is. But then, Darby gets the win, so we'll see for another time, for what, like 5th time or something in AEW's
Yeah.
history, Cody going against Darby Allin, and I'm not really interested in seeing that anymore. I'm hoping that if Cody advances, then it has to be Lars Archer on the other side, and then Lars Archer needs to win and become the first TNT champion. So Jean-Paul Darby he advances to the semifinal, and then we get a video package of Matt Hardy at his compound, and this is where it gets bad. So Jean-Paul is ready to shoot. He's warming up. He's charging it up. So he says he laid out a proposition to Chris Jericho 2 weeks ago, invited him to the compound for the ultimate deletion, but he hasn't heard a reply. He says Damascus can tell Jericho is scared, and the only one thing of the circle that has testicles to mention him by name is Sammy Guevara, the false god. So if Jericho doesn't want to come, then Sammy can come and try to fight him. So he said if Damascus is too intimidating for Jericho, then he can try to talk to Matt Hardy's vessel. So this is when I was like, okay, it's done. And then pretty much we get to see a regular Matt Hardy instead in a leather jacket, and he says he has an immense respect for Chris Jericho and also for Kenny Omega, Cody, and all of that. And pretty much he says he pretty much says that like in the Hardy compound match he's gonna kick his ass. What do you think about that, Jean-Paul? Shoot mode, go.
Just like, okay, so imagine, you're watching, WWF 1997, 1998. You see The Undertaker, he cuts his promo on Stone Cold or somebody, Mankind, and you're like, oh, this is legit. And then, like, Paul Bearer is like, and now you will speak to Mark Calloway. And then he's like, hi, I'm Mark Calloway. Blah, blah, blah. Mick Foley is a great guy who I respect. But at Hell in a Cell, you'd be like, what is this? To me, like, you have the broken character, you introduce him. His first night there, he's teleporting all throughout the arena. So it's like, okay, this guy's powers, that's what they're going with. They're going all in on the broken gimmick. To me, I said, some people didn't like it. I really didn't have an issue with it. But I was like, okay, you went all in with it. Now you have to be all in. You can't pull back. And then they're like, oh, yeah, here's like, shoot mode, kayfabe broken, no pun intended, Matt Hardy. And it's like, okay, now when I see the broken thing, I'll be like, well, now I know that this is a gimmick. Now I know it's fake. It's like, obviously, yeah, no duh, but in the context of the show, you're ruining it for me.
Oh yeah. Pretty much that's the best word you could use. It's completely ruined. Because if they're gonna think that he's gonna be playing both, I don't want to see it. Completely ruined in a matter of a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why, like you said, if they started to doing all this like powers things, they portray Matt Hardy as like the broken one. Again, we said it the last week. We said it like the only company that it seems to be able to portray how Matt Hardy really wants to be is Impact. Because AEW completely dropped the storylines. It's like I guess they tested out for like 2-3 weeks. Oh, it's not getting over, and then boom, we're gonna go back to the same. Why?
Well, I think he'll still be broken like when they wrestle and stuff, but it's like, why even show him as the real man?
It's not believable anymore.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't care. Like, when you watch wrestling, and I reference stuff from back in the day, but you can use it with anybody now. When you watched wrestling back in the day, did you care about Terry Bollea? No, you wanted to see Hulk Hogan. We
Yes.
don't want to see normal Matt Hardy. We want to see the broken, crazy, white streak down the hair Matt Hardy. We want to see deletion and, Damascus and all that stuff. We don't want to see like regular Matt Hardy who, oh, I have a bunch of respect for Chris Jericho. Okay, who cares? I'm
Nope.
sorry. Aren't you supposed to be pissed off at him and you challenged him to an elite deletion match? Now you have respect for him? That's why I'm
How
like,
like
okay,
how
like,
like anger and respect go in the same sentence, how they go along. So I did not like that at all.
no.
To me, like the character is ruined, and because that Matt Hardy, let's not forget that was beat up by so many concertos by Randy Orton. And also that's a way for you, because when he just arrived on AEW, they were taking shots at WWE. Now you show the regular Matt Hardy. He's like, oh, this is the guy that we just fired. This is the guy
Yep.
that we just get rid of. Not
That's the guy.
that.
That's the guy who told Randy Orton that he forgives Edge for banging his
Yes,
girlfriend.
yeah, that's the same thing. So no, not good at all, family. So now we're gonna go to something that was for Allen Angels. It was kind of good because he had a good showing. He's a young upcoming talent. He's young, so he wanted to have a little bit of a rub with a guy that Of course, he likes to be main event, but because of these things, he seems to me he's feeling a little bit of regular, average,
Mm-hmm.
ordinary, and that is Kenny Omega. What do you think, Jean Paul?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this match it went up a little bit longer than I thought. And when they were introducing this kid, which again Jericho gets a name wrong. It was Alan Angels, correct?
Allen Angels. Yep.
Yeah, and he's calling him Alan Eagle. Again, I think that was last week or the week before they got named wrong on commentary, which kind of is like a big ooh, like me. I mean, hey, if we get a name wrong, I don't like that, but we're not sitting there with a piece of paper in front of us with everybody's name on it and all that stuff. They have the card for the show. They have that all printed out. There's no reason you should be getting names wrong and all that, especially if you're trying to get a guy over and then you say his name wrong. It's like, oh, then you clearly don't really care about this guy too much. But it was
Exactly.
a good match. He did, like I said, he had more time against Kenny than I thought. Good show. And like you said, Kenny, he used to be the cleaner. He used to be, the main event. Now he's the janitor. Now he's mid-card at best. It's Kenny. And I'm not saying his talent went down. He's still, if you say, hey, you go out there for a half an hour, put on the best match, of 2020, he'll do it. But just the way that they're using it, he's just kind of lost.
Yeah, well, and again, like you're just mentioning, is at least because New Japan knew how to use him, maybe they didn't overexpose Omega, and we haven't seen him week in and week out. We're just saying where when we see him is in situations that are not meaningful at all. Last time we saw him, we was Michael Nakazawa and the Baby Oil match that had
Yeah.
so much criticism, and now we get to see them with this guy that clearly we know he's gonna lose. Angels and everything. We know he's going to lose. And Jericho kept saying Eagle and Eagle. Again, he's trying to be funny, but he's not coming out as funny. At least for me.
Yeah,
So,
and did you? I don't know if you know this, but is Omega? Is he still the? And I think it's the Omega Championship. Is he
the
still that
Mega
champion?
Champion. Yeah, for
Yeah.
Triple A. The Mega
I was
Champion.
gonna say, see, I feel like he should come out with both belts.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
if he's
because he
able to do that
defended.
with Triple A, he should
Yeah,
be.
he defended it against Guevara, unless he doesn't keep the belt. I know some promotions they don't let you keep the belt. Other ones, they give you the belt, so it's you don't know. But I mean, come out, wearing both belts. I think that would look cool because he comes out wearing the tag team belt, and it's a singles match. It's do you even need that out here?
Yes. Yes.
Understand, you're proud of it, but it's oh, okay. Why would you wear your singles championship that you have?
Exactly. So this one was Angels got a little bit of offense, so he looked good. So probably he'll get signed by AEW. So good for Angels. Congratulations, man. You deserve it. But in the end, Kenny Omega wins. He didn't even need the one-win Angel. It only took 2 big triggers to be done. So I'm not gonna go over the whole thing because I already told you.
Yeah.
2 big triggers, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. Kenny Omega wins. Like I said, I don't know if these kind of matches are needed. Maybe again, we don't have all the talent that we always have. We need to use people that might not be the best matchups, but we gotta put a show. So we're gonna do it this way. So we get a video package from Scorpio Skype, Jean Paul. Why we get a package on Scorpio Skype? What did NXT do last week? A package on Kid Lee, and how did he get into wrestling? Ooh, let's do something similar. So you can see all the companies, they copied each other because, of course, I already mentioned this in the video from Rebellion. Sami Callihan was the mystery hacker in the storyline with Ken Shamrock. Ooh, that's very innovative. So Scorpio Sky is revealing that he has some really bad back injuries and he's almost ended his career, but he said that he's been doing this for years and no big breaks on the or real luck until he decides to give it one more shot and form his SCU in 2017. So the story will continue on. So pretty much we got a package. Hey, I got into
And that's the
wrestling.
best part. Like if they would have wrapped this whole thing up, like you said, maybe the Omega match wasn't as long, or you don't even have it, and they gave us this whole Scorpio Sky thing all tonight. I'd be like, okay, whatever, But it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna break it up. We're gonna show you the next part next week. Like you said, it totally copies the whole. And not saying WWE did it first. I mean, they could have done this like style of like vignettes, video packages, but it's like you said, they copied WWE completely, and it's like, come on now,
Yeah.
like you're gonna copy them, and then but then also badmouth them as well. So it's like, hey, they can't be all bad. They can't have all bad ideas.
And you can see two copies right there, Paul. Why? Kid Lee, the whole thing. Oh yeah, so I got kicked out, and then
Yeah.
so I had it hard. All right, understandable. We all had it hard. All right, you're not the only one. Well, then the story continues. What do you keep doing with Jeff Hardy? Oh, the redemption continues.
Mm-hmm.
So like you gotta
Yep.
really keep pushing that agenda. No, I really don't like that. And then we get a small video of Cody listening to an audio about Dustin talking about his match with Keep Sabian and Penelope 4, and he says, "Well, man, if I'm done, that means it's done." So
And as soon as he said that, and I believe I heard this earlier, I don't know if they announced it on social media or maybe I'm just making it up in my head, but I feel like I heard this earlier that he said if he loses, he's done with wrestling. So at that point, I was like, Kip, thank you for everything you've done, but you're not moving on in this tournament. Because then he's going to lose to the Murder Hawk, and then that's just going to make the emotion so much harder for, Cody, for his brother to lose, and this and that. And to me, if that's how Dustin's going to go out, I'm sorry. I think he deserves a bigger send-off than to be like a chapter in one of Cody's feuds.
oh yeah, yeah. No,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
there will be storyline when it comes to that though, because
Yeah.
they're adding the drama, like you said, it's going to be the fuel. Oh yeah, okay, Les Archer, you retire, my brother. So now I'm coming after you. I think that's the way that it's going to go.
Yeah, but like I said, but like let's say Dustin does stay retired. To me, it's all obviously it's his choice. So if he's fine with it, I should be fine with it as well. But it's like really like if that's his last match, I'm gonna feel like that's kind of a, I don't know, maybe that sums up his career. You know what I mean? Like he's good, he was legit,
But never that level. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
Kurt Angle against Baron Corbin. That's how
yep.
like you will great, awesome dude. Oh yeah, just job to Corbin that nobody really cares about. So that's my 2 cents of that. So Mr. Egg, we got something that at least is young and refreshing because it's firstly Squeeze, is Orange Cassidy going to against Jimmy Havoc. Jean Paul, the first, I would say the best match that Jimmy Havoc has had in AEW Dynamite so far, I will say is this one.
Mm-hmm.
He
Oh yeah,
dominated. He felt good.
yeah.
In the end, a little
And
bullshit.
I
Yeah.
like his entrance theme too. Completely not related to the match, but his music I like.
Metally,
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah, and he looks like good. Like he looks like a dark character. But I think as a wrestler, I will say he's limited. There's no
Oh,
really
he
move set.
definitely has that like British style, but he's like a hardcore wrestler, so you're not gonna see like a British style, like a Tyler Bate or a Pete Dunne, somebody like that. It's a little bit like that, where he like twists the hands and does that stuff, but again, it's more hardcore kind of style. So he definitely fits that character and the gimmick, the way he looks and stuff. But like you said, you're not gonna get a 5-star classic, with Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, oh yeah, but again, like he dominated this match. At least he looked good. It's the first
Yeah,
time that I see this guy looking good.
that's
You
what they
know,
need to. Is he's not a spring chicken, Orange Cassidy. He's always going to be over. So hey, if he gets beat up and Jimmy Havoc gets the rub and he looks good, hey, that's good for him because Orange Cassidy get beat up for 100 days, and the 101st day he comes out, he's still going to get a pop. They're
yeah,
still going to love him because all he has to do is do his little kicks to somebody, and the crowd at home is going to lose it.
yeah, and then everybody's gonna love it. You're right, but
Yep.
like see, I said Havoc looked absolutely great, right? Cassidy did not surprise me this time. He looked kind of plain. I didn't see the same Cassidy that I saw against Pac and everything, and it's maybe because against no crowd, maybe not too
I was
much
just gonna
into
say
it.
because the fans, no pun intended, they eat him up, they drink him up, they're freshly squeezed. So do you think when that crowd pops for everything he does, do you think when that's not there, he seems like, just an ordinary man, to quote,
It's,
the Stonecutters?
yeah, it's the ordinary man. Thank you so much. Well, I don't know what the stone cutters are, but you know. Thank you, Jean Paul. But see, let's go over like the spots in the match. Like you said, Orange Cassidy for me, awesome. But again, this time didn't look that great. But like you said, I will push Habit a little bit. Habit
Oh,
would have been a good
definitely.
contender in this TNT. Use
Hey,
guys that
but,
like
no, but see, you take out Lance Archer, you take out Cody, that frees up two more spots for
and they
guys
could
who
have been
need this.
Havoc. Exactly. Good call, Mr. Booker. Right there. Both men get up and exchange shots with Cassidy barely connecting. Havoc swings by Orange ducks and then he hits a Superman punch. I don't know why he's doing like. We will not mention his
Who?
name.
Who?
WWE is not allowing to like tell his name. So Cassidy gets fired up, but Penelope Ford gets on the apron to distract him until Trent pulls her leg and then she lands into like she splits. That was really nice. For being a
Mm-hmm.
male, that was a really nice look.
That was a
Oh
gooey.
well, that's when you remove the shades right there. It's like
Never, never.
like that was like the 2 seconds that nobody's watching you, so you did that. So Kip Sabian runs into the ring and then he hits a tope on both Trent and Chuck on the floor, but then Ford dives at Cassidy's, but he ducks and she rolls out to the other side, and then Orange Cassidy rolls up Havoc with a crucifix for the win. He gets the win, and then like also he got beat up again by Havoc, Cassidy, not Havoc, and then Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian, and then the best friends also try to help him out. So like you said, this feud's gonna keep going. They're gonna keep pushing that. I mean, for me, the feud that I'm interested in is the Lucha Bros going against the Best Friends, or like the Death Triangle with Pac. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, God knows when are we gonna be able to see this. So for what we get, I
Yeah, I
will.
mean, like, yeah, like you. I mean, I agree. Everything like we said before this. Jimmy Havoc looked good. They said, he has a good record on AEW this year, mostly because he's been wrestling on Dark. Like you said, this is really the first time that we're seeing him in an actual like match that has a little bit of steam, momentum behind it. He looked good. I mean, yeah, like maybe he could have looked better, but hey, like they should gotta do something with him. And the time is now.
And
You can't put him back on the shelf for a month or two and then take him off the shelf and be like, oh, now let's do something with him. No, you got to do it now.
that's the one thing I want to keep mentioning is like keep it consistent. It's like, oh yeah, his record is great on Dark. I'm not gonna watch AEW Dark. I'm sorry. I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or barely I want to keep watching the same shows. It's like make the record should be on Dynamite and Dynamite only. At least I can keep track of it rather than me coming to watch keep seeing AEW Dark. So we
Yeah,
see.
before we move on, right now, one thing they could do is because these shows the way they are. Maybe the first 5 minutes just be like, hey, this is kind of what happened on AEW Dark yesterday.
Thank
Boom,
you.
boom, boom.
How do you feel? How do you feel, Jampo? 1 hour of AEW Dark, and on the second hour Dynamite. You have the 8 to 10 slot right there. You
I
know,
mean, yeah, they could.
you
But
know.
I mean, maybe they don't want to show the whole thing. That's why I say just show some highlights. Boom,
Oh
boom,
yeah, do
boom. Hey,
highlight.
these are who won the match, and like, oh, or like the same thing with Jimmy Havoc. Maybe show highlights. Oh, these are his like 3 wins he's got on the last 3 episodes of AEW Dark. He has a lot of momentum. Something
Exactly.
like that.
Do something like that. Jean Paul. No women's match in this Dynamite at all. No women's match. No mention of any of the women. So very
Well,
strange.
there was the best woman in the company, Hikaru Shida, was in the crowd with the gun idiots or whatever Le Champion called them.
Yeah, but like no
But like
women's
you said,
match,
yeah,
no,
no
not
women's
even a
match,
promo,
nothing. Yeah.
nothing. Not and we like you said, we don't even know where Nyla Rose is, and again, travel issues. That will be their situation. We understand. So we see MJF standing on the outside of his house. He says he never faced a time like this in history of a man, but that he hasn't been on Dynamite. So that's the whole thing that he's expressing. That's why we live hard times. And his fans have been craving him on TV. He says he got injured throwing his cash and got like a hangnail. So then the camera pans out and he's wearing a sling, but then his injury is life-threatening because, but rest assured that he will return and win the AEW Heavyweight Championship. So right there is your clue. He might be the one next going against John Moxley. That might be the one. What do you think?
I mean, I think at some point he will be the world champion. I mean, I don't know if you do it now because I feel like I mean, it's hard to say what they're gonna do, but you could really do some where Wardlow screws Moxley, like gets involved, kind of a 2-on-1 deal. You could do it, but I feel but it's hard to say though. Like I keep kind of stumbling back and forth, how I want to think about this. It's a good feud for Moxley if he does retain, but it's hard to say because if he keeps running through these high-profile guys, it's like who does he have left then eventually to drop it to?
Yeah, yeah, it is true. Well, like I said, hopefully what they will definitely need to do, and I wouldn't say hopefully, what they definitely need to do is just wait till they have everybody again. That way you have so many guys. You have Pac, you have even Pentagon, you have Ray Phoenix. They're a team, but they could do something with them.
Mm-hmm.
You have Adam Hanman Page. That feud will be smoking hot.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that Adam Hanman Page as over as he is, John Moxley, and we know that like they've been teasing Adam Hanman Page as a heel. Do it. That will be extremely great. So Jean Paul, we move on, and then we get the first match that Wardlow actually wins. So he get finally a good showing on that. He goes against Lee Johnson. That's the reaction that we get. That's the reaction that we get. Pretty quick match. Again, we gotta see Wardlow like he needs to get a win. So that's what he got. He threw Johnson around like a freaking ragdoll, and then in the end, like he goes by the throat, he pulls him down to his knees, and then Wardlow takes his straps down and he hits a release airplane spin for the win. Pretty simple to the point. Wardlow, like Jean Paul said, his character died a lot because his debut match with Cody in the cell, not Hell in a Cell, in just the cell. But Cody.
I mean, okay, yeah. The one thing, it was a legit steel cage match. They booked themselves into a corner with that, and I was saying that back in the day seems so long ago. When I was here by my lonesome doing these reviews, but it was like I said, they booked themselves into a corner. Cody had to win that match. Obviously, that beautiful moonsault off the top of the cage was so legit. But hey, I mean, do you have to build this guy up? We've seen wrestling companies, the Fiend. We've seen them guys who are legit, and then the momentum is just done. You're just like, oh, record scratch and done, and then you got to rebuild from the ground up. And that's kind of what they did with Wardlow. At least he didn't have that much steam behind him. It was his first match, and he did look really good. He did kick out of all of Cody's finishers and everything, so that was good. But I'm excited to see what they do with him because he's another. You've got some big monsters on this, AEW, and I'd like to see them really kind of put them all together. Luchasaurus, Lance Archer, Wardlow, Jake Hager. There's a bunch of really big guys. And even what's his name, Oh no, not Vince McMahon. What am I thinking? Brody Lee. That's it. Yeah.
The Exalted One.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned the Exalted One, we're going to be mentioning and talking about the Exalted One because we see a video from Vince McMahon. No, Brody Lee, like you said, and he's interviewing someone who looked up to like the Dark Order online. He seems like a football player. Like he was like you could see like
his life was completely drink. He won the Heisman. His girlfriend, but I think he was running for the Heisman or to win it. I don't know if he did win it, but then he was done. He got hurt, and then his girlfriend was like, "So I'm gonna leave." Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay, okay, good. Pretty much they're good, representing women in a nice way. It's like, oh, you get hurt, so I'll leave you. It's like, oh, okay.
Right, pretty much it's like this. Like if you're not successful, like I leave you. Something that should have happened to Jake Hager. We're gonna talk on that in a little bit. But Brody Lee saying that there's a lot of people in AEW were handed their success, but he had to work for it, and he likes that in people. They feed on the prey, and they are the lions. So he reaches a mass to the man, and he welcomes him home. So pretty much it's like the guy is gonna be in the roster.
And there was the Vince McMahon reference in this was the first thing he asked them was he's like, how much do you weigh? How tall are you? He's like, 6'2", and then I forget how much he said he weighed, and he was like, oh.
And you can see he was already you can see he was having like a boner right there because he's like, oh.
That was like a total Vince McMahon thing for like how tall are you, how much do you weigh? Those are like two things he cares about because he can't ask you a wrestling related question because he doesn't know anything, so he just knows how tall are you,
Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't even care about can you do a move. No, you hit it's huge and then tall and then you're good. So actually we get a match.
Strowman.
Oh, it's like, do you know how to wrestle? What is wrestling? Oh, yeah, oh, that's fake stuff. No, yeah, you're in contract here.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sign
absolutely.
sign here, here,
Sign
and
here.
here.
You know how to write? Oh, okay. No, no, you don't know how to write. Just put your your finger. That's good enough. Or just do a cross. There you go. Yeah, sign. So we get Justin Logan Paul, another one that like is being helping out enhancement talent against the Exalted One. I don't know about why they call the Exalted One, and he wears a suit. You know, because when I feel like somebody's a chosen one, you shouldn't be wearing a suit. But anyway, match
No,
was really quick.
and the one yeah, this match, was quick, but all joking aside, I just want to say for the promo, I thought this was better than previous weeks for the Exalted one. I wasn't like, oh, like this wasn't like, channel changing garbage. It wasn't super cringy. Like you said, he got the little Vince McMahon dig in the beginning, the little jab. And after that, to me, it was what the Exalted one should have been, more like serious, more like, just welcoming people into his Dark Order.
Yes, yes, it was. It was a little bit better, I would say, but again, like I don't know, this relationship with Vince McMahon, I want
Oh
that
yeah,
to be old.
they need to get rid of that. He could have said it that first week, and I would have been like, okay, he got his shot in. Now he's done. After that, they should have.
Yep,
WWE
wipe it
doesn't
out now.
exist.
Exactly, absolutely. So pretty much Logan is back in the corner, and he gets another stiff chop. Then Lee hits a running back elbow, and then he followed by a spinning sidewalk slam, and then he hits the discus lariat for the win. So Brody Lee gets the win. Of course, did we think otherwise? Absolutely not. But then as he's leaving, Marcus Stunt is talking trash on him from behind the guardrail. So then he's like smiling, like Brody Lee smiling, and then we get the best friends, and they're in the gym, and then they get interview, and then they say that like they want this piece of trash of Keep Sabian and Jimmy Havoc next week, and that's you can tell they're really pissed off, and then Cassidy is saying, oh, that's the end of the interview. We get another episode of the Bubbly Bunch. Do we need to really go over this? I don't know. To me,
No,
it's
no. I
not
mean,
funny.
there was what the only thing that I did laugh at, and I think this was. I don't think I actually laughed at anything Jericho said on commentary. I think it was the end of this skit that I laughed at. But I mean, the beginning of it, the rest of it, like it's kind of funny to see Santana and Ortiz, like, on the laptops or like, on the phone or whatever. Like they're kind of amusing sometimes. Guevara and Jake Hager, not really so much. Jericho is either really funny or like sometimes you can tell his humor is a little dated because
Yes.
he's, like in his 40s or however old he is. So he's like a little bit older with his humor. It's like, oh, the winner gets a bottle of hand sanitizer. It's like okay, like I think last week he like something with tissues. It's like okay, like it's like is it funny? You know what I mean? And it's not even because it's a sensitive subject. It's just like it's just not funny.
Yes. Yes.
I don't just like I just don't find humor in it. But I mean, we can talk about it. Like the one thing that I dislike is at the end when they were all hyping up Sami when he had that little dance contest or whatever the heck they were doing. They were
In a
making fun of
TikTok, yeah, dancing. The
They're
best
making
gets a
fun of
bottle of hand
TikTok,
sanitizer.
and he
Yeah.
was dancing, and then Jericho's like, "Well, come on, guys." He's like, "He's not that good," because he was mad that they were all like, he was all so.
Yep.
They were all saying how good Guevara was, and nobody was saying how good he was, and he's like, "He's not even that good. Like, this is stupid."
And to me, like all these are actually, I will just tell you very quick. To me, this is actually damaging the inner circle. I just don't find it funny. I think that like they should be presented like they did like what 3 months ago, like a really group of like people that will come and kick ass. The rebels that they come here
Yeah,
to cause
imagine.
mayhem.
Yeah, to me, this is like they beforehand they were extremely legit. Jericho was really the only one that was. I liked it when Jericho was the one who was like funny, kind of like towed
Yes.
that line a little bit. Guevara also same thing. Hager shouldn't speak. Santana and Ortiz should both be crazy, like oh, like we don't care who you are, we'll jump you, we'll mess you up. They should have that attitude. Like you said, this is kind of humanizing them all and making
Yes.
them all like a joke. This is like something I could see DX doing, not the
Yes.
inner circle. Like this is what
Yes.
DX. If DX was around today, this is what they would be doing.
Yes. And
But
yeah, and the inner circle, like you said, is like more of to cause mayhem, destroying
yeah,
things. And the one thing you just touched on something that I wanted to touch. Hager is already talking and everything, so all the to me the mystique lost,
done, done.
done because again he was doing the dance and all of this, and I was like, you just lost a championship match first. Second, your wife said you're not welcome if you lose. You still have your house. Second, what the hell?
Yeah,
Everything that you said in that promo went to the toilet.
Oh
Why?
yeah, and to see him dancing like a fool again, I mean, it's like that would be like Brock Lesnar doing the same thing.
And again, mystique, keeping your
Yeah,
character, and again, I'm not saying like Jake Hager is bad. We know how like the potential, but like if you were that careful when it came to like portray him, if you were that careful when it comes to every single thing he did, now that he loses one match, you just throw everything out the door
yeah,
just
and
because of
I
that
think
match.
I think it's all because they're associated with Jericho, and when the AEW's arenas were packed, Judas hits and the whole arena singing Judas, you could put anybody around Jericho and the crowd would eat it up. They would
Yeah,
cheer it. They
yeah,
loved it. So
yeah.
they think, oh, the inner circle, we can have them doing whatever. They can have them, wearing clown costumes, throwing water balloons filled with urine at each other, and everyone in the audience
It will
they'll
be yeah.
love it.
They will be
And it's
loving.
like, oh, it's only because it's Jericho. It's like, yeah, but you really see when there's no crowd to react to the inner circle and you have them doing this ridiculous, stupid stuff. It's like,
A little cringy.
yeah,
A little cringy.
yeah.
And we're that bad with WWE and we're like that critical at times. We gotta do the same for AEW. And
Mm-hmm.
this one was not good. So let's go to main event, Mr. Eck. Kip Zavian with Penelope 4 against Dustin Rhodes with Brandy Rhodes. We had a nice video package. See, that was cool. I really enjoyed like how they hype him up for this
Mm-hmm.
match, and the match itself was good. I would say
Yeah.
Jericho actually bothered me a little bit on the calling when he was calling the match because why would you put their career on the line? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? No, and like you're just like pressuring yourself even more. I was like, just let him fight, call the action again. You
Yeah,
don't
I
need
mean
to be like
that
that
is the
sided.
one thing though. That's the one thing though I agree with Jericho. Just from like looking at this from like a real life K outside of kayfabe perspective, it's like the only reason that Dustin is saying his career's on the line is like I said. So when he loses to Lance Archer, it like you said too, it adds that fuel to the fire for Cody, so he can be like, "Oh, you ended my brother's career," and he can be all pissed off. And it's like, why should Dustin have to end his career
So
just
you
for
can
Cody
have that.
Rhodes? So I'm like, really? Like he should end his career in a legit match against, against I don't know, book a storyline that's awesome because right now he's really not in that good of a storyline with anybody. Book a storyline that's legit and have him go out that way.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have him retire. So like I agree with Jericho in that aspect. It's like why is all of a sudden it's not like he was contemplating it. Wasn't like a thing where he was losing and losing and losing and he's like, oh, maybe I don't have it anymore. Maybe I'm bullshit. Maybe I should just retire. And it's like, no, go out in this tournament, go out in a blaze of glory, give it a shot. There was nothing like that. It was just all of a sudden he's like, yeah, if I lose, I'm gonna retire.
It was out of nowhere. It was out of
It,
nowhere. I just, I just didn't like he'll kill. Why this? Why that? Just let him fight. You're the commentator. You just keep calling them action. Don't give me any extra stuff. Let me enjoy the match because it was decent. I
Oh yeah,
really, I
I
really
thought the
like
match
it.
it wasn't bad. Like I always say about Dustin, he knows what he can do, and what he can do, he does it, and he does it, the best that he can do at his age. He does it well.
Exactly right.
He doesn't try to do anything flashy, and then he looks bullshit. Like no offense, because I love him, but Christopher Daniels when he went for that Arabian moonsault against Pentagon, and he completely just fell to the floor like a fish, and it was like ooh. Like he doesn't try to do anything crazy like that. Dustin knows what he can do. He does it, and it's legit.
And he executes well. So yeah, man. And so pretty much also we had a little bit of interaction. Brandy help out Dustin, and then like they was like, so we're gonna go through that. So Sabian goes to the headlock and Rhodes, and then slowly fights it up. Then the snapmare and a kick from Kip, and then he hits the top rope right into a spine buster. So that's good, like you said. He does good stuff. He knows what he's capable of doing. I like that. Then Rhodes rallies with like lariats, and then an uppercut, an atomic drop, and a bulldog. So then Rhodes hits a snap power slam. That's very Goldust, vintage Goldust for a near fall. And Brandy's cheering him on. Then Sabian rolls to the apron and he hits a springboard DDT for another near fall. And then takes a mound full of unloads on Rhodes until Audrey puts him off. Then she forces Skip to the corner because Penelope Ford is in the action right now and berates him. Meanwhile, Penelope gets in the ring, but Brandy hits her with a spear. And then Rhodes hears something that we always say that like they should use to finish people, and thank God that Dustin did it. A Canadian destroyer. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. To me, there was. I think it was P.D. Williams in Team
Yeah,
Canada.
yeah.
That was the Canadian destroyer. And I mean, they like when you listen to them talk about that move, when he hits somebody with it, you're done. They're
Yeah.
like, this is the most devastating move ever. Like, this move is it. You're literally getting flipped, and all your momentum and weight is going right on your head. You're done. And then you see, the Young Bucks, Rey
Rey
Mysterio,
Mysterio,
Andrade. They're like
Andrade is like
10 moves into a match. Canadian Destroyer off the top rope, and it's like kick out at 2, and it's like done.
Mr.
Done.
Panama Sunrise or Panama
Yep.
City,
Adam. Yep. Adam Cole. Thank
we're
you.
not saying
Yep.
like those moves sometimes like need to be kept like the one with Angel. You will say he hits that, we know it's done. It's like don't overuse it for like the super kick. Even Arn Anderson said this about Dolph Ziggler. Is like they wanted to take the super kick away from him, and he said, "No, I'm going to keep doing it." Why? Because it was Shawn Michaels' finisher. So that is like this thing aligns with this thing with like Dustin. At least he did it and he used it and he won. So that at least makes the move strong. So Jean Paul, in the end, what do you think about this whole dynamite?
I mean, it was all right. Like I said, you started it off, the thing from Cody, I was like, okay, what he said is kind of not really making too much sense. You really dig into it, but whatever, wasn't bad. Moving on. And then, then we get to the Matt Hardy stuff a little bit later in the show. And then I was like, that really put a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, really? And then we got 3 matches that were kind of just like enhancement matches, you could say,
Yes.
with Omega, with the Exalted One, Vincent Kennedy, Brody Lee,
Brody
and then
Lee,
with
Wardlow.
Wardlow. So it was, no women's matches, and sometimes they're good. A lot of times, if it's like with Hikaru Shida or somebody like that, it's the best match on the show.
Exactly.
So
And
we didn't get anything like that. And, Scorpio Sky, Matt Hardy, Keith Lee video package, whatever you want to call it. Again, we just got stuff that was just all right. Lately, these Dynamites have just felt all right. It's like, it almost feels like, and it's not because we have a podcast, but it almost feels like a job watching them. Like, okay, got to watch it. Not like
it
2
needs
months ago
to
when
it
it was
needs to
like,
pick
oh,
up. It
yeah,
needs to pick up. So
two,
here's the
two, three.
prediction, Paul. I'm sorry that I'm cutting you off. I apologize, but NXT is going to win again. They're winning for the 3rd week in a row. I'm telling you that.
I could see NXT. I could honestly just see NXT winning. And I hope this doesn't happen. I hope it was just a rumor. I hope, things are like, legit now. They calm down, whatever. Vince, we'll talk about this on a WWE show, but Vince McMahon also is getting sued.
Yes.
So
yes.
maybe things haven't calmed down, but I hope NXT doesn't go away. But if they do, I feel like they're gonna win every week until they go away. I mean, until that unfortunately happens. If it does, I don't see Dynamite coming back until their shows start to improve, because I think people are watching now and they're like, oh, it'll get better, and then it's kind of staying the same,
Same. Yeah.
and the
No.
smile is just.
You know what? You know what will make the show
And then they're
better?
like,
Adam Hanman Page, the Dead Triangle. All of that. That will make it better for me. Maybe the Bucks, but doing something meaningful,
yeah,
getting other people
if
to the show.
and if they can't be there,
SEU.
and like I said, and if they can't be there, hey, I don't know. Or you like, and if you gotta like film all these shows in advance, kind of use the same people, switch up the commentary teams at least. Let's get people who haven't been talking and calling matches for how many hours. So maybe they are a little bit more excited. Whatever. Get somebody out there.
Yes. It looks a little. Give me something that it looks a little better because
You
it's like
had Jim Ross calling that empty arena match. Why can't you have Excalibur and Jim Ross, or like Taz and Jim Ross, or Taz and Excalibur call a match without them being there?
yeah.
Just film it. Just freaking record the show instead of the footage and be like, call it. We'll put the audio over the video and it's done.
That's what I mean.
Like,
So that ends up
that.
this review, family. We're gonna be back with NXT also. Like we have to I like again this show for me. NXT is gonna be a lot better because it's like the development of Killer Cross, Scarlett Bordeaux, the thing with Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and also I think
more cruiserweight action. I'm looking forward to that. The most just from the in
Brave
ring.
Maverick against Atlas, and El Hijo del Fantasma is gonna be debuting. So all of that is gonna be tomorrow with Jean Paul Egg and myself. So guys, don't forget to subscribe for the new people. Hit that bell for all the notifications. We put content every single day. Sometimes even put twice a day. So also check the social media, Jean Paul.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You guys hear me ramble it off, but I do it every video because it's true. You got to follow us on all these social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow them. It's the golden truth. It's Ron the Truth Killings. It's the best thing on the planet. Follow us there. Like I said, you get all the updates. We mentioned NXT. Are they done? Are they not done? As soon as that news becomes, news
Confirm.
confirmed, we're going to report it. So that's
We're
why you
gonna
want to
put it
follow
out
us
there.
on social media.
And like Mr. Egg will say, there's only one more thing left to say, and that is.
Uh,